Radio Ansaar podcasts.
The Congress of South African Trade Unions have accepted a government-proposed minimum wage of 3,500 rand a month in a press conference that they held yesterday afternoon. So the government wants it to start on May 1, 2018, so next year. President Jacob Zuma's administration proposed the minimum wage for a 40-hour week and said businesses that aren't able to afford it will be able to apply for an exemption. Africa's most industrialized economy, which has an unemployment rate of almost 27%, has 6.6 million people earning less than 3,500 rand a month, and this is according to Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa.
And joining us on the line is Chief Executive of the National Employers Association, Gerhard Papenfus. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
What are your initial thoughts on Cosatu's decision to accept the proposed national minimum wage?
Yeah, we know Cosatu wanted. What is our position? 3,500 rand is still a very, very small wage. So anybody will find it very hard to come by, and then do find it very hard to come by on 3,500 rand, and it's even more so when that person is not only required of to look after him or herself, but to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other people. And I think that's the dilemma we're having, is that on the one hand, there are some people which might find it very hard to pay that 3,500 rand, and which might lead to job losses. And then there's that person who can't come by with the 3,500 rand. So what we need is to create work, and we need to create work for millions of people.
All right. So, folks, if you just tuned in, we're in conversation this morning with the Chief Executive of the National Employers Association. Gerhard, really quickly, how will the implementation of the national minimum wage affect employers across the country?
In more formalized business, most business is paying already beyond that price. I mean, the collective bargaining arrangements throughout is the price, the wage is already much higher. So who will it affect? I think it will affect mostly people in a few categories. One is there are sectoral determinations where the labour force is not properly organized, sufficiently organized to form councils. And in those cases, the wages are very much in line with this wage. And I don't think that will really make a difference there, because it's already fixed on more or less that level. Then there are households where domestics might be affected, and farm workers might be affected. And I think then there's the more informal sector where small new businesses might find it very hard. And I don't think that getting an exemption is really the answer. We have experience with the old exemption processes in bargaining councils. It's a slip in terms of an administrative process. And I think what employers in the more informal sector will simply not comply. They will just not comply, and I think inspectors will not even bother to go after them.
Is there a recourse for employees that work for a boss or a company that simply doesn't comply?
Oh yes, there is. Oh yes, you will go to the Department of Labour and lodge a complaint, and they will come out and do an inspection and force you to pay. So there is definitely a recourse for that. So, but employers can do all kinds of things. You can reduce a person's working hours from, say, 5 days to 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you can't afford it, and it sounds, and I don't know how much people have picked up on what I said earlier, but You know, your 3,500 rand is still a very small amount of money. It's not a living wage. It's a minimum wage. And as an employer, it sounds strange that I say this. And I am against the minimum wage, not because of the amount of money, but because of people that might even lose their jobs. And because we need to grow the economy to such an extent that we pay more. Now, I understand government's point. There are employers that can afford to pay more and do not pay more.
Indeed.
And I think that's not right.
Indeed, not right. We're going to have to leave it right there for this morning. We've unfortunately run out of time. A conversation that we may well want to pick up in the near future. Gerhard, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that.
Radio Ansaar podcasts.